Well, we're gonna call this video Somewhere in Montana. It's already dark, but I was just reading the comments on my channel and I saw that you guys wanted an update, like hoping that I would get out of Las Vegas. Well, I'm already in Montana. Hold on. Yeah, let's see if we can make it bright. There's some kind of a plant on the other side. Check this out. You see those lights? And this is Sinclair truck stop. I don't know, 50 miles north of Idaho line. $2.54 for diesel. This is the cheapest I saw today. And so yeah, I got my permit Friday. I was harassing my transport company because I know that even though a lot of websites are available 24/7, but since I'm dealing with a permit broker, so to speak, once they go home Friday, that's it, right? And so I was bugging them, and then surprisingly, Friday, I think it was like 11 o'clock local time, I saw a Nevada permit, and then 1 hour later I saw Idaho, and the last one, the one that took the longest was Montana. And again, I got that one probably right before they went home, like 5 o'clock. Like my broker is in Iowa, and I kept checking the time because I know she goes home at 5 Central Time, and so I kept checking with her, and then finally she says, yeah, Montana. Oh, and Nevada, they sent me the permit for Nevada, and of course it's always a good idea to, before you start jumping for joy, you have to check that it's your truck, that it's your name, that it's your permit, and the route is correct, And so I was so happy when I saw the Nevada permit, and of course I have to print it out. But before I started printing, I looked at the actual page on the computer, right? In the digital form, it's much easier. And I see that for some reason my gross weight is much lighter than what I requested, and instead of 9 axles, the permit only shows 8. So like basically steer axle, drives on the truck, and then Jeep, and 3 axles on the back. And I called them right away. I said, they lost my Stinger. Do you know what happened to my Stinger? And the broker says, oh yeah, you're right, I'm gonna call them. And so half an hour later, I see the corrected permit, and it was like $25. Nevada permit was super cheap. Montana was like $400. Maybe because of the miles, I don't know. And the truck is pulling great, except sometimes you're driving and all of a sudden you start losing RPM. Like, what the heck? The road doesn't look like that bad, but the truck's and then I look in the mirror and I can see how the ground kind of like falls back. Sometimes you don't even realize how steep the road is, because it's gradual, but it starts going into the sky. And I started where I started 1 hour south of Idaho line. So I drove about 6 hours on Friday, and today's Saturday, right? So, and I found a pilot guy. This was his like first time with a big rig. Before he only did the houses, mobile homes. And my Idaho permit said I needed 1 pilot car in the front on that 50-mile stretch of US 93. And like on Nevada, I didn't need any escorts, any permits, and I drove on the same US 93. But as soon as you enter Idaho, they want you to have an escort, and only for 50 miles until you reach I-84. And basically, I went US 93 all the way north, and then I left it, went what, 318 in Nevada, then US 6, then back to 93, just basically straight north. And then once I was in Idaho, I jumped on 84, and then 86 east, and then I-15, and then I-15, and so yeah, this poor guy, he's from Pocatello, and so for him to do that, it was like 300 miles, you know. But he gave me quite a deal, you know. He only charged me $150 US for this 50 miles, and he said he would have spent by the end of the day about $70 in fuel, in gas. But the guy showed up in a pickup truck, you know. He met me at the Nevada-Idaho line. We used the CB channel 24. It was non-eventful. There was one scale was closed that we passed, and then he just took me. There was a Flying J right at US 93 and 84, and I said, let's stop at the truck stop so, you know, I can pay you. And he said he registered with his bank. He downloaded that app, you know, what do you call it, Square, right? I said, where's the actual thing that you're supposed to plug into your laptop or into your phone? He says, oh, it's coming in the mail, but now I can do it manually. And so he tried to use my credit card manual in his phone. It doesn't work. It's asking for a zip code, which I don't have. So we tried different numbers, but anyway, I said, okay, forget it. Let me go inside and get you the cash. Oh, and actually we didn't go to the Flying J because he was in front of me, and I see that there's Flying J on one side, but on the other it's this 66, you know, whatever it's called, kind of like a small truck stop like this one. But I see the diesel prices posted, and I see that at the 66 it was $2.85 or $2.86 a gallon. And I said, hey Tim, can you see what the price is at the Flying J? And he was, oh, 1 second. And then I saw it first. I saw it was $2.96, like basically 10 cents more. I said, change of plans, we're going into 66, not Flying J. I said, the 10 cents cheaper. So that was $2.86, and here it's $2.54, you know, cool. So the more I go north, the cheaper it becomes, you know. And so I paid him. I had some quick snack in there, and surprisingly, this was Twin Falls, Idaho. The seating area is open. It felt so weird, you know, to see people eating behind the tables, you know. And I asked the guy at the deli, I said, do you guys still allow people to sit down? And he said, yeah, we didn't receive the memo yet, you know. Once they tell us, then we'll close it. For now, everything is open. So people are walking around. Nobody's wearing gloves. Nobody's wearing masks. It's like, and when we were driving, I asked the guy, I said, do you have any cases in Pocatello? You know anybody who's got sick? He says, no. He said, we don't have anybody. No cases. And so Twin Falls, super nice truck stop, you know. I went inside. I bought like 100 gallons of fuel. Got my snack, got some, I got like a pop, you know, Diet Coke, and then I left, and so I headed on I-84 east, and then grabbed 86, and then finally jumped on I-15, and was it Montana? Yeah, I went through two scales, the light is green, open, but I didn't see a single truck stopped, you know. So by the end of today, I'm under the impression that they just keep the scales open, but they don't check anybody, you know. I think they're afraid of talking to truckers, you know. This big one here, I think it was in Montana, you know, where you have to go go all the way across the bridge, go in there, and you know, I'm such a huge load, but all my weights are okay because Montana and Idaho, they give you lots of weight on the Tridem and on the booster. Nevada was a bit sketchy on the Tridem, but they give you up to like some crazy 28,000 on the single axle booster. So I was okay, you know, I'm okay with the weights. But yeah, it looks like they don't want to talk to you, you know. They just keep it open for the you know, formality, because they have to. They're inside. But yeah, so 2 scales, nobody stopped me, nobody questioned me, you know. And so yeah, so now I am in this I forgot the name of this town, but it's called Sky Canyon Travel Center, something like that, something with a canyon, you know, on exit 56, mile marker 56, I-15 north in Montana. Lots of room, you know. I was able to, I looked on Trucker Path, it says 30 or 40 spots, and I'm like, you know, you're always kind of like wary when you have such a long truck, you know. You don't want to get stuck and have to back out, because it's very difficult with a Jeep. And but I feel every day that I'm driving like this, I'm getting better, you know. I feel confident now. I'm coming to an intersection, I can already see right away how I have to set up, where I have to go, you know. Will I make the turn, will I not make the turn? And so this truck stop is just great, you know. I was able to, I came from there, right, and then I just went around on the very edge. There's a guy parked next to me here, and I just pulled forward like this, so that, you know, my back over there, well, it's impossible to see, it's super dark now, but I pulled forward so that if somebody decides to go around, so that my rear booster does not stick out past his truck, you know, just to keep it safe. And I went inside. Very nice lady over there at the counter. Not much food. I just bought some snacks like raisins and stuff like that. But I said, it's okay to stay here overnight. She says, yeah, sure. They have a casino, but I don't think it's open. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just watching some movies on my YouTube, on my laptop, and then tomorrow the plan is to get to close to the border, and then Monday I'm going to be dealing with the border crossing and stuff like that. So but yeah, and I don't have my Alberta permit yet, so we'll be working on that one, but that one I can do online, so should be okay. So yeah, so at least I started moving, you know. I started moving. I was getting anxious because the guy next to me, that nice Peterbilt, right, 567, that had a big excavator, he was there for 4 days, and I don't know, I got lucky, I guess. I got my permits on the second day, you know. And so we're trucking, we're moving, everything is cool. The machine sits like as if it's welded into the deck. No issues. I'm driving most of the time 93 kilometers an hour, 58 miles per hour at 1350 RPM in top gear, because that's my like sweet spot. It's enough torque to get me up a hill, but it's not too much fuel. And so that's what's happening. That's your update. Now we're up to date. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We'll do an update later on once I'm in Canada.